What's going on, guys? Welcome to Rabbit's Used Cars. First, how about this badass bright red drop top 1970 GTO? Just love it. I always love the 6970 GTOs. Always suck for them. And a drop top, yeah. So, bought this car come out of Georgia, come out of a small town. That's where your story's coming from today. And it's not about the GTO. Quick rundown, 400 automatic, PHS certified and circumcised. That's Pontiac Historical Society for the guys that don't know. Every option but air, power steering, power brakes, wood grain console, automatic in the floor, AM, FM radio, factory and works, power top, red over black vinyl guts, which is pretty much classy. This is a textbook badass 10 Indian muscle car from way back. This little jewel came out of a little podunk town in Georgia that we happened to do a car show in a few years back. And quick rundown, if you live under a rock, we have an event coming. It's called Hot Rods and Happy Hour. We do car shows all up and down the Southeast. You got to think from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, all the way to Daytona Beach, Florida, and every damn town in between. We do shows, do about 40 events a year. Even with COVID going on, we still did quite a few. It's really fun because you get to go to a lot of towns you normally won't. I mean, we do shows in Atlanta and Charlotte, and like I said, Daytona Beach and Pigeon Forge, things like that. But we also do a lot of smaller shows in little small towns, shows that are raising money for certain charities or causes or organizations or whatnot. And those are the car shows I love. Matter of fact, we even have on the back of our event trailer, support your local car show. Everybody loves those big events. Oh man, you're going down to Cafe and Octane, which I love. Or you're going to, something nationals, or you're going to Scraping the Coast, or you're going to this, or you're going to Mini Nats, or you're going to, these shows are for profit. And there's nothing wrong with that. Profit's not a dirty word. I've said it a million times. But the small shows, those local shows that get put on are the ones that, pay for the local high school football team or raising money for a child that might be sick or whatever. Really raising money or sending kids to camp, whatnot. I mean, there's all these great causes that car shows raise money for. So we do these events, like I said, all over the Southeast. I used to go to all of them, and then now Kobe Kai goes to all of them, and I kind of piggyback. I'll jump on sometimes and hang out or whatever. Sometimes they request me to be there or whatever, but for the most part, Kobe took the reins with all that stuff and kicks ass with it. It's a lot of fun. Same old thing. You got to think about car show, pull the event trailer up, set the sound up, put speakers out, testing everything, running through it. Put your music on, you got to think we got 84,000 songs on file. So we got any kind of genre of music you want, and just playing around, mixing it up a little bit, getting on the mic. What's going on, guys? And this, and this, and this, and this. Everybody having a good time and calling out raffle tickets and, announcing a little award ceremony and just having a good time. Good old car show food, hot dogs, hamburgers, pizza, whatever. So a lot of these shows are a lot alike when it comes to that. So it's very repetitive. But you have some that really stick out in your mind, like the one where this car came from, the town this car came from in Georgia. So anyway, and I don't want to give too many details away because it wasn't the guy that was putting on the show's fault or the town's fault for that matter. It was just a very awkward weekend. And, you got to think some of these shows, they're a one-day show, but you get there the day before, obviously, to get set up and kind of get your bearings and all that stuff because they generally start fairly early and they can run into the afternoon. So we decided to ride down the Friday evening before to this small town. And luckily, this town was so small, they didn't even have hotels. They had motels. They had 2 motels in this whole town. One was condemned and the other was open. And it was a little motel, doors on the outside, single level. Hey, I'm a little bougie when it comes to hotels. This is my thing. If the doors swing out, I don't want to stay there. I want something with a lobby, preferably. A bit of a Hampton Inn kid, them Hilton Rewards, that's a thing. But, when there's not a Hampton Inn around, gotta stay where you can. And so we all booked up in this little motel, and we had the whole crew there. Me, Kobe Kai, the professor, Richard Hoskins, Josh Brielle even came down. I mean, just the whole crew. It was going to be a fun weekend, small town, little car show, all this stuff going on. And we get there, and it was like driving into the Twilight Zone. Just to start off, set the tempo, we all rode in. So me, Kobe, and the professor rode together down, pulling the event trailer. And Josh and Brielle, my friends, they were coming down that evening. So, Friday afternoon, we take off, and driving down the road, and we get there, and it's literally like time stopped in 1985 in this town. Nothing. I mean, they still had a video rental store. Nothing really franchise, just everything just really old school. Like I said, we get to this motel, and it was decent. We walk in, and it's kind of like those movies where you stay at a motel, and they kind of got the weird guy that's working the counter. The first thing that came to my mind when I seen this guy was, you seen that movie Road Trip, and what's this guy, Andy Dick is his name, I think, the redheaded guy that's in that movie that works at the hotel, or motel rather. This guy looked a lot like him. He checked us in, it was old school. He had a book and paper. There were no computers or anything like that. No IDs were needed, whatnot. He gave us our room keys, like a real key, not a card, not an app on your phone. You got a key with a big keychain, the diamond keychain on it, First thing you ask them, you're a local. What do you do for fun around here? We drink. Good to know. Something I learned here in South Carolina, our liquor stores work 7 to 7, daylight hours. So you're not going to buy any liquor after 7 o'clock in South Carolina unless you buy it in a bar. Apparently in Georgia, liquor stores open till 11, which is kind of crazy because this town had no bars, 2 restaurants, and I'll get to that here in a second, and 1 big liquor store. We go walk to our rooms in this hotel, and there was a traveling salesman there that was selling radiator stop leak. Like, I don't know if he was an outside salesman for him or whatever. Supposedly his grandfather invented it. And he was working on his car in the parking lot. So I'm like, hey, and all this stuff. And, walk in, open the door of the room, and it smelled like bug spray. But clean, a period. Well, I throw my bag down, look at the bathroom, and it looks okay, everything looks all right, and I'm always that guy, just pat the bed, make sure it ain't wet or something, and crank the air on, and it came on, a little loud, but it came on. So I shut the door behind me and locked it with a key. I walked up to where Kobe and the professor were staying, and in their little sweetheart suite. And their room was okay, about the same. Just had 2 beds in it. No TV, which was really weird. It was a hotel room with no TV in it. Had a radio. We're just going to crash here, so it ain't that big a deal. Well, by this time, Josh and Bree were coming into town, and I said, yeah, don't get your hopes up really high about this hotel. So they get checked in, and they go to their room, and it's okay. Kind of got a bug spray smell to it, too. So we're standing here in the parking lot like, what the hell are we going to do? And, of course, everybody, if you got Kobe with you, you know exactly what you're going to do next. You're going to eat. I see it as Matt starts nodding over there right now like, yeah, we're going to eat. We had to go feed Kobe's tapeworm. So we go to this restaurant. It's this old school steakhouse, like the ones like you remember, like you wait in line, and like you order by number. You got your tray. And you're like, I want a number 1 or I want a number 4. I'll take them sirloin tips with peppers and onions, one of them deals. Had the big old rolls and stuff, and we're sitting there eating. It was actually pretty decent. It was old school. Something about a frozen steak you order by number that just sparks up nostalgia. And we're sitting there, and you start looking around, and we really look out of place in this place. Hey, I can get along with anybody. I'm a chameleon. I love them all. We're standing around. There's some shady looking characters in this place, though. I mean, just from way back. And I'm thinking, hey, small town, Friday night, hanging out at the only sit down restaurant in the whole damn town. So the waitress comes up and fills up her tea glasses, all this stuff. I said, so what do you do for fun around here? She said, we get drunk. I said, no bars or nightclubs, anything. I mean, anything exciting, any sights to see here in small town GA? Nope. She said, we like to drink. She said, there's a liquor store right down on the left. I said, yeah, we saw that when we were checking in the hotel. She said, oh my God, you're not staying down there, are you? And I'm like, actually, we are. She said, well, I guess it's the only hotel you could stay in around here. But she said, don't sleep naked. Why not? She said, that place 6 months ago, it was condemned too. They just opened it back up. She said, it looked pretty rough back then. She said, I haven't seen it since they've cleaned it up. And I said, it don't look that bad. That's kind of taken up for a little bit. But definitely in the back of my mind, I'm like, so I'm sleeping on top of the covers. And I mean, no Walmart. There's no nothing like that around here. I was thinking to myself, like, I'll go buy a damn sleeping bag and sleep on top of the covers. But whatever. No big deal. Professor likes to have a little drink every once in a while. Cobra Kai does too. And ain't nothing wrong with it. I ain't gonna leave him out. Hell, I'll join him for a drink. So we stopped by the liquor store. And we grab a few things. We'll just have us a little parking lot party. We already dropped the event trailer and all that good stuff. And well, next thing you know, we get there. There's quite a few patrons at the hotel. And there was 2 ladies that were staying there, 2 nurses. They were there, dude still working on his car out in the parking lot. And there was a couple people there that I'm 90% sure lived there. Hell, everybody's just kind of drug chairs out of their room outside. And hell, we flopped tailgate down a truck and started filling up some cups. And, we might have partaken the spirits a little heavy that night. And Professor was walking sideways pretty good at this point. And of course the nurses came by and they were having drinks with us. And we're laughing, cutting up, where are you guys from? And I told them all about Greenville and doing radio and whatnot. And oh my goodness. And they're telling us about nurse stuff and nursing stuff and whatnot. I mean, just small talk and how pretty it was. And it was absolutely gorgeous outside. And, it was just kind of nice just to hang out, I mean, you got to think about it. We go to some pretty wild places, but it's kind of cool, just kind of laid back, nonchalant, not all Hollywood, as my buddy Josh calls it. We were actually parked in front of their room, and their door was open, and the nurse's room was right beside theirs, and their door was open. They were both double rooms. Professor was walking to the room to use the restroom, and he accidentally goes to the nurse's room and walks in there, and next thing you know, like about 15 minutes goes by, we haven't seen the professor. And I'm like, what in the hell's going on? Kobe said, well, hell, he just walked in the room. I mean, he 20 feet away. So we go looking for him. He's not in the room. He has vanished. The professor has turned into David Copperfield. All of a sudden, the nurses walk into their room like, oh my God, Richard is passed out in their bed. It was getting a little late, so we decided to kind of call it a night and everybody go to the room. So you got to think about it. We already had the event trailer set up. Sound was done already. So basically we just had to turnkey and just go at it. So we show up to the event, and the event's just not even a half mile up the road. And we get there, and I mean, by the time we get there, hell, there was cars coming in from everywhere. This little show was packing out quick. And, and you start seeing some shady characters walking around. Well, the first problem was Kobe's job was to get Richard up. Now, keep in mind, we said, hey, 7 o'clock, we're beating down the parking lot. Well, it was about 7:15, and Richard's still dead to the world. So me and Kobe, and Richard, keep in mind, 145 pounds, 5'8". We put him in the back of the truck, like good friends do. And so I had a crew cab. This is not the crew cab I have now, but another black crew cab Chevrolet I had. Anyway, so we threw him in the back seat. Hell, me and Kobe take off, Josh and Bree. Hell, we head up to the show. We open the trailer up right quick, get the doors going, got the tunes playing, and get everything rock and roll. And it's starting to warm up. You got to think about summertime in Georgia, and it's hotter than the 7 smuts of hell by 9:30, 10 o'clock. Well, we're sitting in an event trailer and we got fans blowing on us and everything else in there, just sit back, sipping on a Yoo-Hoo. That was the thing we found, glass bottle Yoo-Hoo. And we were sipping on those in the event trailer and we were laughing, cutting up, actually making fun of all the shady looking people that were walking around. It almost looked like the set of Thriller. I mean, like there's some seriously shady looking, heavily drug influenced people walking around. But hey, it is what it is. And next thing you know, holy shit, we forgot about Richard. Richard had been in my truck for at least 2.5 hours with the windows up, passed out in the back seat. And the first thing I think of is I hope he hasn't thrown up in my truck or something like that. And Kobe said, hell, throw it up. He might be dead. He's been sitting in that truck with the windows up and it's hotter than hell outside. We open the door and like he's just wet with sweat. So we get him out, staggering. We can help him to the trailer and he's starting to sober up a little bit. And we get a little bit of water in him. I think somebody grabbed him a Gatorade. He's sitting in the trailer, got a fan blowing on him. He's alive, thank God. Everything's going good. Next thing you know, Josh comes up to me and says, look at that dude right there. And there's a dude walking around with basketball shorts, combat boots with no laces. And like, you remember back in the 80s, like the t-shirts that people used to cut up with the slits in them and stuff. This dude's walking around. And I mean, he's just... But the thing is, the music stops and he's still doing this. Like he never stopped. Hey, is what it is. Boy's got the rhythm in his heart. Hey, we got there doing our thing, whatever. The next thing you know, there's a chick. And keep in mind, we got large PA speakers. We got 15 and 18-inch subs going. PA speakers project sound. So you got to think, for you to be able to hear it 200 feet away, bad boy's cranking up close. It's loud. And, they're generally up higher, but here we couldn't do it like that. So they were just kind of at the corners of the trailer. Well, you're behind them, it's not too bad, but you're in front of them, that thing is boom, boom, boom. I mean, even 38 Special is loud as just blaring. Hold on, loosely, just blaring. And this chick is standing right in front of the speaker. You can actually see her hair moving. And I mean, very, very, very skinny, scrawny, doesn't look like she bathed. She's got a dress on, eyes sunk in her head. Not a girl not a JCPenney gal. So Smitty, Josh, gets up and walks over and says, like, ma'am, you don't need to be standing in front of that speaker like that. And she just totally ignores him. It's like he didn't say a word. Well, the next thing you know, old combat boots with the basketball shorts starts coming up from the other side. And they're both standing in front of PA speakers. And I don't know if it's the vibrations getting them off or they're so dead to the world, their bodies so burn up. I don't know. So I'm like, what to do? So I talked to the guy's putting on the show, and he goes, I'm going to call the police. Great. Let's bring the law out. And I said, there ain't no sense making a big scene. They just need to kind of walk them out of here. And next thing you know, the cops get here. And cops, just kind of nonchalantly walk them off. The cop said, hey, got under control. He said, we got a big problem with meth around here. I'm thinking, no shit. He goes, hey, you should be good. Show looks great, whatever. Moving right along. Well, they come back, and next thing you know, they're like looking at cars and walking around, and then back in front of the speakers. And by this time, it's time to start the award ceremony, so we had to bring the cops back out again. And this time, he cuffed and stuffed them and took them. We got the show done. Nobody got their brain ate from the zombies walking around in this car show. We joke all the time about that event, and poor Richard, he finally is back 100% again. And we always joke about that hotel and how we didn't get bed bugs, but we thought we were going to. It was so ironic that I had to send transport to come pick up this GTO in the same town. Needless to say, I got the best thing out of that town. I'm going to tell you that right now. Guys, we'll catch you next time at Rabbit's Used Cars. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Rabbit's Used Cars. Beep, beep, beep. You didn't hear that? Me, Cubby Kai, the professor, Josh and Smith, me, Cubby Kai. All right, it's nothing. Got a radio. I'm good. It'll scare the bugs off. I don't think you can say that. I don't think that's the correct terminology they like.